Straight ahead on CCX News, an end of an era in Crystal, the demolition of a building that brings back fond memories to some Crystal residents, and how it's paving the way for something new. Then the day a Maple Grove travel agency says is like Christmas come early. And a Robbinsdale store that allows you to step back in time and discover something pleasing to your ears or an eye catcher for your home. CCX News starts right now.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us. Today marked the end of an era for the city of Crystal. The Crystal Arts Center at Becker Park met its demise today as a demolition crew spent the morning tearing the building down. As Delane Cleveland reports, the venue played host to concerts and other community events over the past few decades, but city leaders are excited about what's in store.
There comes a time in the life of nearly every building when it has to meet the wrecking ball. For the Crystal Arts and Activities Center at Becker Park, today was that day. Originally built in 1986, it was used as a community gathering space and as a place where bands would perform concerts.
Well, this is when they first started building it.
Ray Dahl was a longtime City of Crystal employee who held on to photos of the building's earliest days. He has fond memories of the venue.
It was good acoustically. It was a great setup, and it was a pretty neat deal.
Yet after a lifespan of more than 30 years, the building was reduced to a pile of rubble in a matter of hours.
The building doesn't really fit with what we're looking to do in the future.
John Elmholm is Crystal's recreation director. He says better things are on the horizon for Becker Park.
So the new park will have a performance area as well, but then there'll be a playground. Instead of being tucked behind the building like it is today, it will be right out in the middle of the park, and it'll be much larger, and there'll be a spray feature in the new park. So there's a lot of really fun things coming.
The hope is that the newly renovated Becker Park, along with its inclusive playground, will make it more of a community gathering place than it's been in recent years.
And just removing the fences, you can kind of see how that can become that kind of a place.
However, that's still a couple years away.
Yes.
For Ray Dahl, he admits that the Crystal Arts and Activities Center will be missed.
Yes, because it was a lot of fun, I tell you.
In Crystal, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
The new park will cost about $3 million. Construction will begin in the spring of 2019, and the park will open in the spring of 2020. A Brooklyn Park man has been sentenced to prison for the death of his infant daughter. Darnell Davis pleaded guilty to one count of second-degree murder. His 5-month-old child died 2 years ago at a home he shared with the child's mother in Rogers. An autopsy originally ruled the death undetermined, but this year Davis told investigators he became frustrated with the baby's crying and admitted to shaking the child back and forth 3 or 4 times. Davis said he originally lied to investigators because he did not want anyone to think he was a bad person. A judge sentenced Davis to 17 years in prison. When Minnesota lawmakers convene January 8th at the state capitol, the 2019 session will have a noticeable Northwest Metro influence. Local lawmakers will hold either key leadership posts or chair influential committees. This week, we learned that DFL State Representative Mike Freiberg of Golden Valley will chair the House Government Operations Committee. That particular panel provides oversight to local government and state boards. Freiberg was re-elected to serve a 4th term in November. We previously reported that DFL Representatives Melissa Hortman of Brooklyn Park will serve as House Speaker, and Ryan Winkler of Golden Valley will serve as House Majority Leader. And on the Republican side, Senator Warren Limmer of Maple Grove will continue to serve as Assistant Majority Leader, a role he previously occupied for the 2017 and 2018 sessions. A former Maple Grove IHOP restaurant is now slated to become something much different. The site along Weaver Lake Road near I-94 is proposed to become Burn Boot Camp. That's a national all-women fitness center. There's currently a location in Eden Prairie. Burn Boot Camp emphasizes group workouts like the one you see here. The Maple Grove Planning Commission is recommending approval. The City Council will have the final say at its next meeting. Most of us know about Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but are you familiar with Travel Tuesday? It happens right after Thanksgiving, and it's a chance to book trips at a low price. We get more now from Eric Nelson.
On a frigid 22-degree day in the Twin Cities, it's easy to fantasize about jetting off to Malibu, Maui, Miami, or some other hot spot. At Travel Leaders in Maple Grove,
you can find deals. Yep.
Carrie Hansen found some bargain fares on Travel Tuesday.
I've seen Jamaica at $297 for a January. Yep. For a January departure. It was a 5-day trip.
For Globetrotters, Travel Tuesday is like Christmas Day and New Year's Eve combined. Domestic trips go down as much as 25% for winter getaways, while some international prices can drop 35%.
Princess Cruises, for example, will offer up to $900 off per cabin. There's a lot of great tour companies. Italy, if you book by November 27th, will give you $1,000 off per couple.
Of course, now that Minnesota is back in the deep freeze, most travelers want to escape to a sun-drenched destination.
Dominican Republic is always a hot one. Jamaica is great as well. Belize and Aruba.
According to Hansen, using a travel agency gives people a personal touch.
None of my clients travel without my personal cell phone.
She believes their approach is more intimate than computer sites such as Google, Kayak, or Orbitz.
If there is a delay, if you're stuck in that back of the plane and it's turning around to come back to Minneapolis, you can call us, and by the time you get off the plane, we'll have you rerouted.
If you're traveling anytime soon and want one of those low-cost airfares, avoid flying over the New Year's holiday. That's when prices go way up. At MSP International Airport, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
Carrie Hansen says typically Tuesday is the best day to find low-fare travel deals, but the industry is like the stock market and it can fluctuate. Today in Maple Grove, small business owners gathered to learn about ways to help them grow. The annual Dig-In conference held by the I-94 West Chamber of Commerce also offered ideas to help businesses develop their employees, create employee management, and ultimately increase employee retention.
As a business owner with my team here today, not only am I finding the value in seeing a successful event come together, but as a team we are learning better ways to understand each other, work together, collaborate, and be more efficient and effective for our clients and each other.
One of the speakers at today's conference touched on the importance of delegating to maximize time and reduce daily work stress. Still ahead on CCX News, a Robbinsdale store that's the place for hard-to-find vintage vinyl. We will take you there up next. Plus, the Maple Grove girls basketball team will try to get back to the state tournament. We'll have a season preview of the Crimson later in sports. But first, possible snow. An inch of slush is possible Wednesday evening.
Our vibe is sort of Mad Men meets Brady Bunch.
A new Robbinsdale store has customers stepping back in time. The family business offers up a bit of 60s and 80s nostalgia. Fly Vintage and Vinyl opened its doors on Black Friday, and the Robbinsdale residents who own the place say they were adamant about staying in the city where they put down roots. Here's reporter Sonia Goins.
Welcome to Fly Vintage and Vinyl.
Fly Vintage and Vinyl is right across the street from the new Hy-Vee store.
We really are going to fill this place up.
Owners Betsy and Dan Rupert Kahn,
basically 1.5 rooms of records,
are still putting in merchandise.
This little snowman is made out of safety pins.
For 2.5 years,
we had 2 rooms that we were renting.
The store was located inside Finds on Broadway.
Here is a ceramic tree.
But they eventually outgrew the space.
We only had room for about 1,700 records. And then once we moved here, we were able to double our record capacity.
Hardcore record collectors can find some classics in the first room.
Like Depeche Mode and The Cure, New Order and The Smiths. Everything in this room has been ultrasonic cleaned and individually bagged for protection.
And there's also a budget section for folks who want to get their groove on and save some cash. People can also test out their tunes before they buy them.
And once we get to here, we spill into Betsy's vintage area.
A lot of wall art.
While Dan is passionate about vinyl,
holiday decorations.
His wife loves vintage.
It's kind of a fun little museum.
These items will take you back to the Brady Bunch days. Retro furniture from the 70s.
Something that we hear all the time is, oh, this reminds me of my grandma's house. Oh, this is what I grew up with. And that's one of my favorite things to hear.
And there's a room full of vintage holiday decorations.
These are very popular little Putz Village.
These items will remind you of Christmas past.
There's just something very sweet about them.
So whether you're looking for classic prints or retro furniture from the 60s, you're bound to find something from years past here at Fly Vintage and Vinyl. In Robbinsdale, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Fly Vintage and Vinyl will have their grand opening sometime in January. Up next, traveling down a piece of highway history in Brooklyn Park. But first, the Cooper girls basketball team takes aim at repeating as state champions this season. John Jacobson has their story up next.
The Maple Grove girls basketball team will be young this winter, but the Crimson should still be in the mix to repeat as section champions. Here's Jason Malillo with a preview of the Crimson.
Maple Grove has two returning starters in sophomore Jordan Lampker and junior Abby Schulte, and they'll be expected to lead a team that's short on varsity experience.
I think they just need to be confident in what they're doing, and I think me and Jordan being able to encourage them and the older classmen, like helping bring them up, and I think that'll really help us this year.
We're going to play a lot of sophomores this year, and those kids have all grown up playing together, so it's not like they're unfamiliar with being on the court together. And even some of the kids that they played with last year that are upperclassmen that played JV with them last year, you know, there's a certain level of comfort there that we just got to bring to a varsity floor now, and that's going to take time.
Grove will play a tough schedule early, starting on Tuesday night against St. Michael Albertville. It's a rematch of last season's section final, which the Crimson won.
The tough schedule early gets us focused out of the gate. We want to play the best competition, and we know in the end if we're going to get anywhere, if we're going to get down to Williams Arena this year, we're going to have to beat St. Michael at some point. So to be able to see them out of the gate, to be able to see teams like Rogers out of the gate, Tonka, we got a good Chaska team on Saturday in the breakdown.
Maple Grove will look different physically this season, and as a result, the Crimson will play a bit of a different style.
Last year we had a little bit more size, a little bit more length, so this year we're just going to try to play great D, like use our quickness to our advantage. Yes, we're undersized, of course, but we're just going to try to work as best we can on the defensive end, and the offense will come.
I think that's the type of game we're looking to play more this year, is getting out in transition and pushing the ball, and the more fast tempo that we can make to make teams get tired and then break them down that way.
Building confidence and getting new players comfortable at the varsity level is the season-long plan for MG, and if that happens, the Crimson hopes to make another state tournament run. Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
Maple Grove season opener on Tuesday against St. Michael Albertville will be on the Crimson's home floor at 7 o'clock. The Cooper girls basketball team not only reached the state tournament for the first time in program history last winter, they won the state Class 3A title. Jay Wilcox has a preview of this year's Hawks team.
Last year was a dream season for Cooper. The Hawks had been getting better and better the past few seasons, and last winter they put it all together to make school history.
It was really exciting. Everything, for us being girls, we were the first people to ever do it at Cooper, so everybody was excited. We still talk about it a lot actually at school, like teachers always bring it up.
The experience gained playing in those big games is very valuable for the returning players. What they can't do is forget that nothing is guaranteed for this season.
Yeah, it's a good thing. So we stay prepared for every game. We don't take any game for granted. So yeah, come with the same intensity every game. Yeah, we definitely know. We definitely know that losing seniors last year, a lot of seniors last year, that is going to be tougher, but we're definitely ready.
I think for the most part we're pretty good. I try to push that message early, just reminding girls what our focus is. Like if I feel like we're not totally locked in or relaxed a little bit, those are just conversations that we have, and I think that the girls do a great job of picking up, of wanting to get back to that place at the same time. So we've been pretty good with it.
While the Hawks did graduate some key guards, they also have a good returning core. Asia Wheeler is a great all-around player, while her younger sister Kiara had a breakthrough year as a post player last season. Drea Tribble is a good returning guard. This team has a chance to be very good again.
We look pretty good. We came back strong, quickly. Usually it takes us a while to get going, but we came back and was on it, so yeah. We're expected to repeat. All the teachers, everybody that go here, all the players, we already have that on our schedule. We're that's what we're trying to do, repeat.
You know, we have that target on our back now, and teams want to come in to compete. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're probably going to get a lot of teams' best games. So I think that's that mental piece, that mental preparation that I try to get across to the girls.
The Hawks will shoot to make it back-to-back titles in 2018-2019. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
The Hawks open the season tonight, Tuesday, at St. Paul Como Park. Their home opener December 7th should be a good one as they host De La Salle. It could be another very good year for girls basketball here in the northwest suburbs. A handful of teams from the area are ranked in the top 10 in their respective classes. In the largest class, 4A, local teams Hopkins and Wayzata are 1-2 to start the season. They're followed by Eastview, Roseville, and Centennial. Cooper starts the season ranked 3rd in Class 3A behind De La Salle and Alexandria. Northfield and Simley round off the top 5, but Ild St. Margaret's is number 10. And in Class A, Heritage Christian Academy is rated 3rd. And that is it for sports. Shannon, back to you.
All right, thanks, John. Up next, a road you might travel every day has a history you might not know. We'll have that story when we come back. Members of the Robbinsdale Historical Society got to hear a piece of history today that you might not know about. Jefferson Highway, named for Thomas Jefferson, once ran from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico, which gave it the nickname Palms to Pines Highway. It was dedicated as a memorial in 1915, but now only one north-south section remains, and it is right here in our area. It runs from the intersection of West Broadway and County Road 81 in Brooklyn Park to Brooklyn Boulevard.
Just like the Lincoln Highway or other named roads, once the federal numbering system went into effect in 1926, then all those highways, you know, became numbers. But the memory, of course, still remains.
Carol Algren conducted a year-long research project on the road, and she talked about her findings Tuesday with the Robbinsdale Historical Society. So there you go. I didn't know that. That's all the news we have for now. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you right back here again Wednesday starting at 4 o'clock.